iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to race number 7 of the series here tonight. Tonight, these pro late model drivers are taking on the Knoxville Speedway. You know, Knoxville, the place of sprint cars, but tonight we'll be throwing some pro late models out there on the Speedway to have them do battle. Last week we saw once again Trevor Mattingly park the 13T in victory lane and add a 4th consecutive win to his tally. Will anyone be able to stop him here tonight? Tune in to the race in action and find out from here. Also from last week, the top 3 looked like the following. As we get ready to go over to the Knoxville Speedway, we will have to see which drivers are looking quick right now. At the timing and scoring, Trevor Mattingly leads the way over his uncle Bobby Mattingly in second. Third is Jacob Lassiter. Fourth is Tanner Hutchins, and Dave Payne round out the top 5. As you can see here, folks, in practice, just less than a minute left till we get ready for some group qualifying here tonight. Of course, we got 13 pro late models here at the Speedway, so it should be some pretty good close racing here tonight, as we'll see if Trevor Mattingly can pick up another pole or if someone else can put their name into the action. Like I was saying last week at the Kokomo Speedway, we had Trevor Mattingly win the race, Nick Baum in second, who I don't believe made the calling here tonight just yet, and Jacob Lassiter rounds out the top 3, so we'll have to see who will make up the top 3 when it's all said and done. Trevor Mattingly has a solid points lead with 345 over Jacob Lassiter with 288 in second. Tanner Hutchins in third in points with 269. Brandon Marlowe with 249 in fourth. And Blake Steele rounding out the top 5 in points with 240. So with the season starting to wind down, we're in the second half of the season. We'll keep an eye on the points for these drivers when it's all said and done, but that's the top 5 in points as we get ready now for our first group in the group qualifying here tonight at the Knoxville Speedway. I believe in group number 1 we'll have to see what the cars are, but I want to say there is I think there's 3 or 4 cars per group in the group qualifying. as we get them out, gridded on up, and get ready to rock and roll and kick off this show. If you're tuning in live, be sure to let us know who you're rooting for, who's got the best looking car here tonight. I know we had a lot of different paint schemes kind of shake up when it's all said and done after the All-Star race, which Trevor Mattingly ended up winning the whole thing, but we have adapted a few nice things. Also tonight is presented by the Pay2Win crew, so we gotta give them a shout out, as tonight's race is sponsored by Pay2Win setups on the iRacing simulator. So be sure to check them out if you're looking for some good setups out there. They do a pretty nice group when it's all said and done as we get cars out on the speedway. First car we're looking at here is Swede McGod in the 15 machine. First time we see him out here with us, so we'll take a look to see what Swede can do here in that 15 machine as we have started our qualifying. And it looks like Dan Lloyd is the quickest in that 009 machine. We're looking at that thing now, a very nice 9 machine, part of that Hot Lap Heroes group. Also out there on the speedway is the 37 machine of Brandon Marlowe, who will come across the start finish line. Will he improve on that time? It looks like no, he will just barely get beaten by Dane Lloyd, who will be the quickest here in group number 1, as we get ready now for group number 2 to roll on out on the speedway. Looks like some of those cars, Dave Payne leading the way, Tanner Hutchins and Scott Erie all in group number 2. As we get these cars up to speed, first we'll be checking out Dave Payne. Dave finally able to pick up a win in the Wednesday night's Pavement Super Late Model Series this season, so Dave riding a high, still trying to put together some stuff on the dirt. He really enjoys running these dirt series, but says he's not that good, but definitely better than most out here in that 38 ASRC machine. As he comes around to take his first time lap, Dave Payne off of turn number 4 will put in a time of an 18.21. Now we'll look at that bright pink double OH machine of Tanner Hutchins. Hutchins first time by with an 18.20. We'll see if he can improve this time, as these laps will probably pick on up as this track continues to get worn on in. But as you can tell, a nice groove forming at the bottom of the speedway. Tanner Hutchins will not improve that lap, so he'll stay with an 18.20. The final guy in this group in the 81 machine is Scott Erie. He's looking to improve on that time with an 18.68 off of turn number 4 for the final time for Scott Erie. He will improve that time, put it with an 18.54, so looking like Dane Lloyd might be one of the best here as we get ready for our next group to roll on out. It looks like it will be led by the 13 team machine of Trevor Mattingly. As these guys get ready to rock and roll, Mattingly will get this group rolling. Looks like we'll have Trevor Mattingly in this group, Blake Steele and Michael Guerin. So all those cars out there is Trevor Mattingly trying to get that thing wound up here sooner than later as he comes off of turn number 4 to start his first time lap. This is the man we got to keep an eye out for this race and pretty much the rest of the season. See if he can continue that run that he's been having. Pretty storybook, if you ask me, as Trevor Mattingly on his first time lap here heads through 3 and 4, and off of turn number 4, that T-Mat machine will go P number 4 right there with an 18.20. So we'll have to see if he can improve on that time. Also in this group is the 12 machine of Blake Steele. Blake has been very consistent throughout the season, as we saw in the pre-race rundown. He sits 5th in points, so he's hoping to for sure keep that, maybe trying to improve on that. Blake Steele with an 18.44, so trying to figure out something here as the last car in this group off of turn number 2. He comes, that is Michael Guerin in that 78 machine. He has slowly been adding some sponsors to that car. You see Lane Automotive on that machine, as well as Rhodes, it looks like, on the car as well. So Michael Guerin, a pretty solid effort. He'll put that thing P number 7 as we get ready for our next group to roll on out. But Trevor Mattingly will start deep in this field, it looks like, as he puts a P number 4, so will not be, I think we'll be still starting on a front row when it's all said and done in a heat race, but not the qualifying effort that 13T wanted to see as we get the next group to roll on out onto the track. Looks like we'll only have the double zero machine of Deontay Hero being powered by the Mopar. Kind of similar paint scheme to an old KCK machine, if you guys remember that from the early 2000s, but Deontay Hero trying to get a handle of that race car here in qualifying. Deontay hasn't really run too many shows with this Sunday night series. He's been more involved in the Monday and the Wednesday night pavement stuff, so Deontay more comfortable with the pavement stuff, as we also got Bobby Manley out there on the speedway in this group. He has put down a second place run right now here in qualifying as Bobby Manley off of turn number 4. Let's see if he improves on that time from an 18.18. Will not. So also in this group is the 91 machine of Aaron Kirby, also part of that T-Mat Speed Shop. Kirby sitting in the 8th position for his final time lap here. We'll see if he can improve this lap time, as off of turn number 4 the 91 machine comes, looking to start a little bit better than this qualifying that he's put in currently right now in P number 7. Will improve, but just barely, as these times are very close here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway. As we get ready for our last group here in qualifying, it will be the 151 of Jacob Laster, or the 51 on the car, with Nicholas Iron in the 14 also out here. Looks like we do have 14 cars, so we had one car unloading right there in the last second of practice, who will be making the call here tonight. As we look now at Jacob Laster, currently sits P number 2 in the points, was on the podium last week, trying to improve and get that first win of the season from Laster. He did win the inaugural Pro Late Model Series here at ASRC way back in the day when it was called by the man himself, Roger Muth, in the booth. But Laster looking to, of course, keep that streak alive, keep that second position, but also looking for that first win of the season, as Jacob Laster puts in a P number 9 with an 18.27, so definitely looking to improve for lap number 2 as he comes off the corner. It looks like he will be the only car in this group, so Laster not having to worry about any other cars on the speedway. He will stay with an 18.27, so he'll try and improve here for the final time as the 151 machine heads through off of turn number 4. Jacob Laster will go to P number 4 with an 18.20, so a very nice improvement from that 151 machine. But Dan Lloyd will pick up the quick time here at the Knoxville Speedway. As Dan Lloyd in that 9 machine, or the 009 here in the time and scoring, will pick up the quick time award for the Pay2Win setups. Race number 7 here at the Knoxville Speedway. Of course, here tonight we'll run through what to expect, what the track is, and of course some of the season sponsors here. So we're at the Knoxville Speedway, a half mile. We'll see the inside line be dominant for the beginning part until that slicks on off. Then we'll see people go anywhere from that middle groove all the way up to the wall by the end of these 50 laps. Tonight looking nice and cool, 65 degrees, a bit of humidity, so this track should stay pretty tacky throughout the night, a little bit of wind. And of course, we got to thank all the season sponsors, those being AJ's Auto Detailing, Hubco Metal Fab, QuickTime Motorsports Media, Pay2Win Setups, sponsoring tonight's race, Race1.us, the RC Pro Shop, and of course, FMF Rapid Graphics from Aaron Kirby, who will be sponsoring the biggest mover of these races. So got to give a shout out to all the sponsors that make this happen. Of course, Zach Heiser for keeping this show rolling as well as he does. As who's ready for some racing action here as we get ready to grid up heat race number 1 of the night. Alrighty, folks, we are back at the Knoxville Raceway, and still waiting. I think maybe trying to get everything sorted out on the end. Here we go, as I think now the qualifying will click on over, and we get ready for some heat racing action here. I believe Dane Lloyd will lead us to the green here in heat race number 1, as we'll get ready to rock and roll and head through tonight's starting order. For heat race number 1, we got Dan Lloyd in the 009 machine, or the 9 machine on the car. He'll be starting on the pole. Brandon Marlowe in the 37 machine will be second. Row number 2 will be made up of Tanner Hutchins in the 00H or the 04 machine on my scoring. Dave Payne will be starting in the 4th position in that 38 machine. Swede McGard in the 015 machine will start 5th. 6th goes to Deontay Hure, and rounding out the field for heat race number 1 is Scott Erie in the 81 machine. As these drivers get on out to the speedway here, we'll be ready to do battle, I believe, for 10 laps for heat race number 1. As this time by, folks, will be the wave lap for heat race number 1. So if you got your favorite driver out there in this race, be sure to give them a wave as we get ready to rock and roll and go for 8 laps, at the Knoxville Raceway. As this is the wave lap, and next time by, we'll be going green flag racing action. Dane Lloyd will lead us to green. Brandon Marlowe will try to hang on to that outside lane. It's going to be very tough to restart on that outside lane here tonight, at least while this track is in this state, as it'll be very bottom side dominant. If you can get a nose underneath the car in front of you on that inside lane, you'll pretty much have the pass complete unless you make some sort of mistake. So we'll have to see how this unfolds here for 8 laps. This, of course, some bonus points for the championship on the line, as well as the most important thing, the starting order for the feature event. As Dan Lloyd jumps on the loud pedal here, we go green flag racing action here at Knoxville. Dane with a great start in that 9 machine. He will be leading us down into turn number 1. Looks like Brandon Marlowe under fire from Tanner Hutchins in that 00H machine. He's trying to make that inside work, try and run right around that curb on that inside lane, but Marlowe able to keep the power, keep the momentum on just above that slick, and he'll stay in the 2nd position as Dave Payne tries to enter this battle here in the top 4, but we'll pretty much need a pretty big mistake when it's all said and done to get around these guys, as Dan Lloyd fastest out on the speedway last time by. As Marlowe once again under fire from Tanner Hutchins. Tanner's trying to make something work on that inside line, can throw it in there a little bit harder than that 37 machine, but just can't quite get that momentum, put the power down, as well as that 37 machine on that top lane. So looks like everyone's single filed out for the most part here, as this is, of course, the best battle on the speedway here from 2nd through 4th. That time by, we see the cross flags from heat race number 1. So far, everyone looking pretty solid. Top 4 underneath that blanket, but like I was saying, Brandon Marlowe kind of catching the leader here. Brandon Marlowe looking to the inside of Dan Lloyd. Down the front stretch they go, side by side. Marlowe with a great run, as Lloyd, big time mistake there into 1. He goes way up the racetrack into the marbles. Will lose 3 spots all the way to Dave Payne, who tries to get around him. So Lloyd goes from 1st to further on back and losing some more spots. Now under fire from the 15 machine here with popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. And now McGower tries to make that work on Lloyd here for the 4th position. Looks like he will clear it. So the 15 machine up into 4th as Marlowe goes around for the race lead. Caution flag comes out as Marlowe up and over, as this will bring out the yellow flag, folks, and we'll take a look to see what happened. But some big time contact, it looked like, heading into turn number 3. We'll take a look on the turn 3 race and replay here as, Tanner Hutchins, not sure what happened, got a big time of the curb, just clipped Brandon Marlowe, and up and over Marlowe goes. We'll jump back here and see maybe what happened to Tanner Hutchins down the backstretch and into turn number 3, but it looks like maybe Hutchins mistimed corner entry big time, got way too much on the curb a little too early. That, of course, very upset the car. Yeah, got the left rear way up on the curb. That's going to send the car very straight and just barely clips Marlowe, who's an innocent bystander, and he'll go up and over. So not what you wanted to see for the race lead here at Knoxville Raceway. As we go back to live here, looks like Tanner Hutchins will claim that yellow. That will give Dave Payne the race lead here at the Knoxville Raceway. As Dave Payne will be leading us to green, he'll start on the front row by himself. Lights are out on the pace track, so this means we're going green this time by row number 2 will be made up of Swede McGard in the 15 with Dan Lloyd, who gets a little bit of redemption here as Dave Payne fires on off. We'll see 2 laps to go here, so pretty much be a green-white checkered for the end of heat race number 1. Dave Payne just needs to mind his P's and Q's, not make any big mistakes from that 38 machine. He'll be sitting pretty as 3 wide further in the back as Marlowe and Hutchins try and rebound their race here at the closing stages. But off of turn number 4, this field will see the white flag here. 1 more lap to go, with Dave Payne leading the way in that 38 machine. The 15's there to give some pressure, but I think it'll be a little too late as 3 and 4 for the final time for heat race number 1. And off of turn number 4, Dave Payne will pick up the win. Swede McGard in the 15 machine will finish second. Dan Lloyd will finish third. So a little bit of a shakeup there as Dave Payne will be leading us to the green flag in the feature event. So Dave doing what he needs to do there to pick up the win as we get ready now to head over to heat race number 2 of the night. This one being led by the 3 machine of Bobby Mattingly. Starting to his outside is Jacob Laster in the 151. Row number 2 be made up of Trevor Mattingly with Aaron Kirby. Row number 3, Michael Guerin and Blake Steele. And rounding out the field for heat race number 2 is Nick Iron in the 14. Nick is a first time here in the ASRC series as we get a look at him. Missed his qualifying, a little bit late entry, but out here in that 14 machine, so we'll put the camera on him, give him a little bit of love here on the broadcast. Looks like he's sponsored by Advantage Auctions out there, so pretty cool stuff as this is the wave lap. So be sure to give your favorite driver a wave as next time by we'll be going green flag racing for heat race number 2. They'll be, of course, being led by Bobby Mattingly in the 3M. Laster to his outside. Trevor Mattingly in third with Aaron Kirby. So we see that top line starting to come in, that inside line. Very tough to get off the corner. So it'll be a battle of Bobby Mattingly and Jacob Laster into turn number 1. Who will come out on top? Laster in the right lane, but Bobby Mattingly gets to control the start, launch when he wants. So we'll have to see how that works on out. As we get ready for 8 laps, Bobby Mattingly gets away with a great start. Jacob Laster loses about a car length to Mattingly. Now has the other Mattingly looking to his inside. Trevor Mattingly big time tight in 1 and 2. He'll lose a spot there to even Aaron Kirby as everyone single files out and jumps in that second groove right in front of that slick. But Trevor Mattingly will try a run. He goes looking to the inside of Aaron Kirby here in 1 and 2. Trevor Mattingly trying to put that left rear right below the slick, has a little bit of contact, some more contact down the back. That sends Aaron Kirby up the raceway. That opens the door for Blake Steele. As old man folks, his contact further in the back. Some hard hits further in the back. Michael Guerin hard in the outside wall with Aaron Kirby. And it looks like Nick Ireland also involved, as this will bring out the first caution here for heat race number 2. We'll take a look at what happened, but it looked like it started with all the way the contact here in the backstretch between Aaron Kirby and Trevor Mattingly. That sends Kirby way up the speedway. As you see Blake Steele sneak on by. Now Kirby tries to get out of the slick, tries to get a big run, just clips the back of Trevor Mattingly. He has to get out of it with, Michael Guerin also right on his back bumper. That causes a chain reaction, and around a few cars go with those three, as we'll ride on board with Michael Guerin here and see what he sees here in the replay. We, of course, have it slowed on down. A lot easier to analyze things in slow-mo, as when it happens at full speed, you know, it happens a lot quicker. We'll ride on board maybe for a full time, but you can see just a barely check up. That sends a few cars hard in this outside wall. Guerin, big time contact. As we'll ride maybe on board full speed with Aaron Kirby just to see what he was seeing with this GoPro cam. As you see the contact, up the track he goes, playing with that throttle, and has to lift right there. You hear him get out of the throttle, then hard contact to the back, and that spins that 91 machine out and around, and some cars with some pretty significant damage, that being Guerin in that 78. Looks like Nick in the 14 pretty all right when it's all said and done. Doesn't look like too much damage. Same with Aaron Kirby. As we get ready to go racing here, looks like Jacob Laster will elect the high side. Bobby Mattingly will start on his own, so that opens up the third position to Trevor Mattingly in the 13T on that inside line. So a lot of racing still to be had in heat race number 2. As we'll see 5 laps to go once this field crosses the start finish line. We wait for the 3M. He jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action. Bobby Mattingly leads the way with Trevor Mattingly getting a great start in second. I think they might have timed out that restart. As Aaron Kirby now looks to the inside of Jacob Laster, who has a big run down the backstretch. They'll go door to door for second. As Trevor Mattingly might try a slide job, he'll slide Laster out of the group just a little bit. Try and get some of that tacky stuff to the right rear of the 13T. Looks like he'll be able to clear Laster off at turn number 2. Does Laster try and make a move, or does he settle on it? It's right on the back bumper. Oh, that 13T, as now Laster comes under fire to Aaron Kirby, who has gotten around Blake Steele on this restart here already. As Blake Steele tries to make that inside line work, but has to follow suit, fall back in line behind the 91 of Aaron Kirby. Kirby back up into the 4th position, kind of back where he was running with the battle with Trevor Mattingly. As this time by, we'll see popsicle sticks up in the air. Bobby Mattingly continues to lead the way in that 3M machine. Trevor Mattingly up into 2nd, Laster 3rd, Kirby 4th. As the field off at turn number 4, they'll see the white flag one more time around for heat race number 2. Bobby Mattingly just needs to hit his marks here for one more time. As you can see, these cars already working higher and higher up on this Knoxville Raceway. As you can tell, not too much banking here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway, so we'll see drivers continue to move up, try and find some slick, but off at turn number 4, Bobby Mattingly picks up another heat win. Last heat win he picked up was in the All-Star race. Now we'll pick up a heat win in a points race, that being now with heat race number 2. As we get ready now to maybe we'll chat with a few of these drivers here tonight with some heat race winners, that being Dave Payne and Bobby Mattingly. So first we'll try and dial up Dave Payne and try and get a word with the driver of the 38 machine. as we'll get a word with Dave Payne just here in a second. We're having a little bit of trouble here with Discord, so we'll try and dial up these drivers here just in a second, and we'll be right back on the other side. Don't go anywhere, folks. As actually, I think we can dial them up here, and hopefully we won't have too much interference. As yeah, we get Dave Payne here in the booth. So, Dave, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth.
Hey, Brett, there you are.
How you doing here tonight? Of course, Discord having a little bit of issues, not seeming to be able to move people here, so very strange. But Dave, let me know what you thought of heat race number 1. A little bit of a wild one there halfway through.
Yeah, I thought I came in like a bandit and stole it, honestly. I think the only reason I won that was because the two got tangled up, and two in front of me, top two, and then iRacing's got these goofy rules for where people restart after a caution, and it kept me up front, and that was it. 2 laps. It was easy to kind of hold it. You know, I think if it was any more than that, I might have lost it because second place was knocking on my door. So I think I stole it tonight, but I'll take it. Dub's a dub.
Yep, that's very true, Dave. You know, you got to take them when you can get them. And I tell you what, what's kind of the outlook here, leading the field to green here for the main event here tonight at the Knoxville Raceway.
Try and manage the waterfall that I'm going to be going to the back. That's my outlook, because I know, you know, I can't, there's some guys here that I just can't compete with. I know the Matting Leaves are going to be coming. I know Lassiter's going to be coming. I know Marlowe's coming. I know Lloyd. You know, all these really fast guys are going to be coming. So I don't know how long I'll be able to hold on to the lead in the feature, but I think really I'm going to just try and manage my fall and not lose too many positions. I do tend to get just a little bit better at this track when it slicks off a little bit. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yep, keep your eyes in that rear view. Don't let anyone make some wild moves on you, and try and just park that car in the groove for as long as you can. But Dave, best of luck to you here tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you for the first time on the podium when it's all said and done.
Yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you again. Thanks, Brett.
Alrighty, it looks like we also have heat race number 2 winner Bobby Mattingly in the booth. Bobby, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Alrighty, Bobby, how was that car here for heat race number 2? It seemed like that thing was pretty hooked up.
Yeah, it was actually the setup. We ran a practice race yesterday, so I had a little bit of practice with it. The setup's not bad. It as long as you hit your line right, don't get the car too sideways, and let it step out on you. Keep it as straight as you can. Setup's pretty good.
Yeah, it seems like it should be a fun one here, especially Knoxville. You know, we see the groove move around a lot tonight. What's your anticipation for the track wear here at the Knoxville Raceway?
Well, it'll probably it'll stay mostly to the mid because there's not really a ton of cars in here. I mean, if we had a bunch of cars, it would definitely move up closer to the wall and then progress its way generally back down toward the bottom. You would see a lot more sliders. I mean, you may see it even tonight. I don't know. It's 50 laps, so it's a pretty long race. So we'll just have to wait and see.
As you know, here at Knoxville, we see a lot of the, especially with these Pro Late models, you know, not a ton of power, but still enough to get these cars moving. So, Bobby, hopefully we'll be talking to you by the end. Best of luck to you here as you start on the outside pole.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll be talking to you here in a little while.
All righty. Good luck.
Yep. Thank you.
As folks, we get ready here. We got cars on the grid, so we'll be running through tonight's starting order here in just 1 second as we get everything sorted out on my end. And get ready to rock and roll as tonight's starting order looking like the following. Dave Payton in that 38 ASRC machine will be leading us to green. Starting to his outside, heat winner number 2, Bobby Mattingly in the 3M. Row number 2 will have Swede Megard in the 15 or the 015 in the timing scoring, with Trevor Mattingly in the 13T to his outside. Row number 3 being made up of Dane Lloyd. Quick time here tonight. We'll see if he can find his way back through the field in that 009 or the 9 on his car. Starting to his outside in the 6th position is Jacob Lassiter in the 151. Row number 4 be made up Deontay Hewer with Aaron Kirby starting to his outside. Scott Erie starting in the 9th position, with Blake Steele starting in 10th. 11th will go to Brandon Marlowe, who will have a lot of cars to pass here in 11th. 12th is Michael Guerin in the 78 machine. And then the final row will be Tanner Hutchins in the 00H on the car, or the 04 in the timing scorings, with Nicholas Iron in the 14 rounding out tonight's field. As this is the wave lap here, folks. Get up on your feet, give your favorite drivers a wave, as next time by we'll be going green flag racing for 50 laps for the main event here at the Knoxville Raceway. Dave Payton will be leading us to green. He can fire off once that iRacing pace truck heads down pit road. We have a lot of fast drivers here tonight. A lot of them starting in midfield or towards the back, so we'll have to see how this works out now. It looks like the 14 machine of Ireland did miss the call for the grid of the feature event, so we'll have to see if he can get back out there. But off of turn number 4, Dave Payton jumps on a loud pedal. We go green flag racing here for 50 laps. As Dave Payton gets away with a great start, he'll get tight though and push on up as further on back the 15 machine goes on around. We get some more cars, heavy contact to Aaron Kirby, and some cars slide on in as we see heavy damage to the front of Kirby as Dave Payton got very tight there, but further on back it looked like a lot of cars battling for that inside lane, as I think it started with the 15 machine, might have gotten some help from the 9. We'll take a look at the replay here as the field heads into turn number 1. We see Megard in the 15 down low, gets that thing a little bit over rotated. Oh, it looks like, yeah, Dane Lloyd gets a piece of the curb. That sends that car very up top. Deontay Hewer tries to get on around. Kirby comes in late. It's very hard to get these things wound up and stopped here, folks. As a big parking lot in turn number 2 at the very start. We see a lot of torn up race cars to start this race. As we'll look here, yeah, you see Lloyd in that 009 machine just tagged the back of the 15. He gets then tagged by Deontay Hewer, and they leave the racing surface. Luckily, no cars go up and over as cars continue to pile on in here later, as that will be a big one. Big parking lot in turns number 2 here at the start here. We'll ride on board with Blake Steele, see what he saw as a little bit of netcode that sent Kirby around. He gets on the binders and, of course, bounced around some more, as when you step on the brakes in these cars, folks, it very much steps that rear end around, as you see here even some more secondary wreck as more cars pile on in. As, yeah, when you get on the brakes in these things, it tends to very much turn these cars around and makes it very hard to stop. And we saw the outcome of that as we get ready to go back to racing action here. I believe Race Control puts it out for another lap, as it looks like we got Kirby still on pit road. As it looks like from Race Control, we might have a full field restart here. So since we did not complete a full lap, we'll double file them up and get ready to go back racing action here as they get everything sorted out in the timing and scoring. But it looks like we'll have a full field restart here with Dave Payton, of course, leading the way. He got a little bit tight, so Dave gets a little bit of some notes from that 38 machine. He gets to re-rack, kind of figure out what he did wrong to try and improve that, because he was big time under fire from Mattingly off of turn number 2. Kirby able to get a nose back on that 91 machine. It looks like Dane Lloyd did claim that yellow, so he'll be restarting on the tail end of the field here in that 9 machine, as I think we get everything sorted on out for the most part. Lights are extinguished on the iRacing Pace truck. We get ready to go green flag racing here. Next time by is looks like Nick will get a lap back, so he'll be back on the lead lap, able to get out there on the speedway, so we love to see it. So the 14 machine back in the race here, as this time by we'll be going green flag racing action. Dave Payne leading us to green, Bobby Mattingly to his outside. And off of turn number 4, the field comes iRacing Pace truck down pit road. Dave Payne jumps on the loud pedal here. We go back to green flag racing action here at the Knoxville Raceway. Of course, tonight being sponsored by the Pay2Win setups. As Dave Payne goes quickly to that outside groove, he'll try and put the block on here, as now Trevor Mattingly looks to the inside in that 13T. He'll be challenging here already for the race lead. As one car up into the wall, that's the 81 machine of Scott Erie. He gets shuffled on back as he gets the wall here some more, as he will go from around mid-pack all the way back to 12. Just in that lap, he gets that thing sorted on out. Now under fire from Aaron Kirby, who seems to have some damage here. And off of turn number 4, 3 wide for the race lead. Bobby Mattingly able to shoot the middle. He'll now challenge Trevor Mattingly for the race lead. Trevor Mattingly still stuck on that inside lane. We, of course, have a little bit of time and scoring issue. It shows Nick Ireland, but he is not the race leader. This is the battle for the race lead between the two Mattingleys, as Trevor Mattingly able to get up to that top side. Jacob Lasser also in this battle as well in that 51 machine. As the top 4 has broken out away, now Lasser looking to try and get around the 38 of Dave Payne here into turn number 1. Dave Payne swings way out wide. He's up in the marbles. You see him hoisting that left front. He's really trying to put that power down, but with that high lane, Dave Payne gets away with a great run off at turn number 2. Down the front stretch they come. These guys will complete another lap. We're 7 laps in of 50 as Lasser continues to try and get around Dave Payne, who is very much in the top side. Now Lasser will go door to door into turn number 3. Lasser not quite a slide job, but trying to make it work through the slick. They'll go once again door to door down the front stretch. I think Lasser, if he wants to try and get to the Mattingleys, he's got to try a slide job, send it into turn number 3, try and get around Dave Payne as quickly as possible. As Lasser loses the momentum, he'll slide back into the 4th position, as this is the best battle on the speedway here. Lasser trying to get that 51 machine wound up and try another attack to Dave Payne. He's right on the back bumper here as we ride on board with Jacob Lasser trying to get around Dave Payne. As you can hear, Lasser just working that throttle, just waiting for Dave Payne to make a mistake. It looks like Dave's able to settle on in, find some rhythm, find some traction in that 38 machine, as Lasser not really able to do too much, as you see Dave Payne pretty sideways in the corner, but Lasser has to feather the throttle on off, not able to get around him that time. As further on back, we have Michael Guerin trying to get around. Looks like the 15 machine with some front end damage, as Guerin not able to complete the pass, but the field getting strung on out for the most part. As we have the top 4 checking on out, then further on back in 6, sorry, top 4 checked on out. Then further on back, we have Tanner Hutchins under fire from Blake Steele. Blake Steele looking for a little bit of rebound, has shown a lot of speed in this feature event. Looks like that 12 machine coming to him here, as he continues to apply the pressure to the back bumper of Hutchins, as we look at a 3-car battle now for 7 on back on the speedway here, as Marlowe able to get around, jumps the cushion though, so Marlowe up right against the wall. This will hurt his corner exit, as it looks like Swede able to jump out of the loud pedal. That allows Marlowe to keep the spot, but loses it to Guerin, and now Swede might be under fire from Aaron Kirby, as Lasser and Payne duke it out for the 4th position. Up front, it looks like Bobby Mattingly continues to hold off Trevor Mattingly for the race lead, but Trevor keeping him honest right there on the back bumper. But this is now the battle for 3rd as Slide Job City has ensued. These two throwing sliders back and forth here for the 3rd position. Lassiter not throwing a slider that time, so he'll get stuck on the inside lane. This will allow Dave Payne to keep the momentum and be able to defend Lassiter on that spot. So as you can tell, folks, these cars slowly getting wider and wider in these corners as they continue to go above that dark slick stuff, as they continue to try and put that right rear in the tacky traction. They don't want to go too high and go into the loose marbles, but they want to keep that right rear and left rear if they can right in that nice stuff. You see Lassiter doing a great job at that. Just a little bit lower than Dave Payne. I think that's what's making Lassiter a little bit better, as that time he goes a little bit high, but cuts it down a little bit lower than Dave Payne. Lassiter enters right on the back bumper of Dave Payne. We'll look to the inside here. If Lassiter gets a run, I think we might see a slider from him, but doesn't get the run that the 38 machine gets. As Lassiter goes in very high, he's trying a little bit different line than Dave Payne, trying to get something happening to get around that 38 machine for 2nd. As the battle for 5th, Blake Steele still continues to keep Tanner Hutchins honest for that 5th position. Hutchins hanging on in that double OH machine, but Blake Steele still trying his best to wait for a mistake, as this time Steele will go for the slider, just not clear of him, so Steele has to jump out of the throttle, have to make a wait, as Steele will slide back into the 6th position as he continues to try and build up a run. We'll see if he can have another shot at him further on back. Dane Lloyd, Aaron Kirby, and McGarland all in a battle here from around the 10th position out on the speedway. As these drivers continue to duke it on out, we get close to the halfway point in this race. So far, we only had one yellow flag out there with the start here, as Steele able to get around Hutchins. We'll see if Hutchins can redeliver the favor, as we'll see a slide job from the double H machine. Now Steele will cross him on over down the front stretch, as Steele got a great run off of turn number 4, as Steele will give it right back here in turn number 1, as Blake Steele now with the advantage. He's in the good groove, as Hutchins will once again try the slider, will just clear Steele, as Steele will get on the binders, cut that thing down low, and once again get the momentum. These guys duking it out, as I believe for the 3rd position they're also duking it out, that being Payne and Lassiter once again going at it for that 3rd position and that podium spot. As it looks like Steele able to defend the line from Hutchins. Hutchins trying to make that inside line work, but Blake Steele will get the momentum from that top line. Also, further on back, Brandon Marlowe able to get around Michael Guerin now for that 8th position. So Guerin trying to make his way back up through this field after that tough heat race that you saw him get knocked out of from leading. Lassiter and Payne still duking it out. We have crossed over the halfway point in this race. Dave Payne still hanging on to 2nd, with Lassiter in the 3rd position. If you're just tuning in first, folks, you see Ireland, way out there in front. He is not the race leader. We have a little bit of issue in the time and scoring with the transponders on the car, so that 14 machine is not actually the current race leader. As you see a battle for the race lead, Trevor Mattingly on the attack to his uncle Bobby Mattingly. This is the race lead battle here, as we get a little bit of lap traffic involved too, so we'll of course put the cam on the battle for the race lead, as it's Slide Job City here for P number 1 at Knoxville. Knoxville tonight, of course, being presented by Pay2Win setups here. They've come along board with this series and sponsor this race, as we'll see slide jobs here and some lap traffic. The 81 machine of Oh man, Trevor Mattingly had to get on the binders big time not to get in the back bumper of the 3M as they'll both go to the middle trying to get around that 81 machine. It looks like Bobby Mattingly trying to make it work as Erie will get out of the way. He'll get a piece of the wall, but Trevor Mattingly tries to take away the line from the crossover. Bobby Mattingly stuck in that slick stuff, and it looks like Trevor Mattingly will go back to the point. He's trying to make it 5 in a row here tonight if he can get the job done, and he's sitting pretty now back into P number 1. As a heck of a race for that race lead. Of course, a little bit of lap traffic involved, and Trevor Mattingly doing it perfectly, using the lap traffic, a little bit of a pick that sent Bobby Mattingly into the slick stuff. Not quite able to get the big run off it, so now Bobby Mattingly has to put his head down, try and make something happen, and try and hope that Trevor Mattingly makes a mistake, maybe gets involved with some bad timing of some lap cars as we'll jump on board with second place. As you can hear, folks, as this track widens on out, less and less off throttle time. You hear pretty much almost wide open, a little bit of throttle action with corner entry and then at the apex. But the most important thing is trying to just keep that right rear in the tacky stuff and keeping that momentum, you know, try and be as smooth, not quite on the wheel, but on those rear tires, trying to get that car pointed where you want. And then, of course, trying to get that run on off as we see some more lap traffic for these leaders very rapidly approaching. As Dave Payne continues to hold off Jacob Lasser, now a little bit of lap traffic with Scott Erie. Looks like Payne will be able to get around him here with a nice slide job there. That will park Erie in front of Lasser, who will now try and go around him. He gets around clearly, and Lasser with a big run off of turn number 2. That puts him right back on the back bumper of Dave Payne. As we jump on board with Dave Payne, you can see how close Lasser is right on the back bumper as we look from the rear bars of the 38 machine sitting in that 3rd position. Lasser right against the wall now. You see what kind of run he can get from apex to the start of the straightaway. I mean, Lasser now almost leaning on these big tall walls here of the Knoxville Raceway, as Lasser with a big run off at turn number 2. He looks to the inside, but not quite a slide job as Lasser. Very straight here tonight, so Lasser keeping that car much more straight than Dave Payne and making that thing hooked up pretty well for what he's doing as Lasser continues to try and keep a podium run here. But out in front, we see 10 laps to go. Flagman with 2 open palms as Bobby Mattingly goes on the attack. He puts the slide on Trevor Mattingly. We're back to slide job city for the race lead here within 10 laps to go. They go door to door here. Trevor Mattingly will try the slider himself, but Bobby Mattingly puts on the defense. He doesn't allow Trevor Mattingly to get out of the slick, but Trevor Mattingly, he's magical in that slick stuff, folks. He's able to just barely have the advantage on Bobby Mattingly, but they go door to door. You see Bobby Mattingly entering right at the wall. He's trying to get that thing very wound up and go back on the attack, as now Trevor Mattingly a little bit slow off the corner from that inside line. Once again, Bobby Mattingly with a big slider now also has some lap traffic of the 9 and 91 machine. As we get inside of the closing laps, we got to keep the racing action here on the battle for the race lead, as it looks like Jacob Lasser and Dave Payne also duking out for that 3rd position. Looks like Lasser might have been able to get around as the 9 machine. Very courteous lap traffic, you know, got out of the way of the race leaders. You love to see that here at the American Sim Racing Club, but Trevor Mattingly somehow making that inside line work. You see the far distance Bobby Mattingly has to travel, as Trevor Mattingly has put that thing back down on that inside line, and I think Bobby Mattingly will have a tough time to catch him, as he can really wind that thing up here for the last 5 laps, but Trevor Mattingly making that thing work down low, as you got to cover a ton of distance on that outside lane just to be able to catch Trevor Mattingly. As we'll see the open palm here, 5 laps to go, as Blake Steele has now caught the back bumper of Dave Payne. both of these cars from Lassiter on back, all of them still to the top side. If any of these guys got a spotter, I'd be telling them, try that low side, as the leader has gone down there and has been very fast here, as we see 4 laps to go here at the Knoxville Raceway, presented by Pay2Win Setups. As you see Blake Steele entering on the fence, tries to get the big run. He'll cut down low. I think this time by we'll see a slide job from the 12 of Blake Steele. Dave Payne tries to defend it. He does a great job at doing it. That puts Blake Steele in the slick. He slides on up, not able to make it work. As we see 3 laps to go, Blake Steele will once again try a big run again. He'll enter high, cut that thing down low, and then try and once again see if he can make a move into turn number 3. He'll go back to the top side once again, try and get that thing wound up, as we see popsicle sticks for the race lead. 2 laps to go around this Knoxville Speedway, 1 mile left. As we'll keep an eye on this battle here that's ensuing for P number 4. But it looks like Blake Steele might have one last attempt to get the job done. But off of turn number 4, Trevor Mattingly will see the white flag here, and down the backstretch he'll go for the final time to make it 5 in a row. And off of turn number 4 he'll come, and the 13T will once again see victory lane. Trevor Mattingly once again gets the job done. He wins 5 in a row. This man cannot be stopped. Second place goes to Bobby Mattingly with a great run. Jacob Lassiter will finish in P number 3 and will be chatting with us at the end. He's able to get back on the podium as Blake Steele finishes 4th. Just beats out Dave Payton for 5th. Marlowe with a great rebound 6th. 7th, Tanner Hutchins. 8th, Michael Guerin. Kirby 9th. And Dane Lloyd round out the top 10. As Trevor Mattingly will park that thing on the front stretch here. And we'll be chatting with this top 3 right after commercial break. So don't go anywhere, folks. We got a fun one still in store. Alrighty, folks, we are back here at the Knoxville Raceway. Looks like we got our top 3 here in the booth. So we'll start off with Jacob Lassiter. Jacob, you had a heck of a battle there all race long with Dave Payton. Tell us a little bit about your race here tonight.
It was pretty good. Me and Dave went back and forth there and throwing sliders, and I just got in behind him and started riding and just tried to wait for a mistake. And he made one little mistake, and I was able to kind of throw a slider at the exact same time that he made that mistake, and I was able to get past him. And at that point, no caution. I couldn't have run down Trevor or Bobby. They were a lot faster than I.
Yeah, it seemed like tonight was big time follow the leader. It looked like at the end, Trevor Mattingly making that inside line work, but it seemed like everyone was up against the wall. And of course, following the groove, was that the case here for the most part of the race?
I went down there a few times, and I could somewhat get on under David, but he still had that momentum. So didn't really want to commit to the bottom. It might have been there. You have to ask Trevor, but I think if you could hit it right, it might have could, especially when the top and bottom starts evening out. Once it does that, then you can go down there.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like at the end, the track started getting really racy, and I think definitely the top three, saw some lap traffic. How was that to add in the intensity with the battles here tonight for you, Jacob?
And I spoke last week about lap traffic. This is about the best group of lap traffic you can be around. I mean, they always give you a lane. You throw a big slider on them, they check up for you. They're really respectable guys, and that's really what it takes to race out here cleanly.
Yeah, Jacob, and since we're in the second half of the season, we took a look at the points at the start of tonight's race, and you set P number 2 and add some more very valuable points here tonight. Once again, on the podium talking with me. So, doing what you need to do here as we get inside of the last few races of the season. So, Jacob, what's kind of the game plan forwards, I think, with 4 races left for this 151 or 51 on the car?
I guess I just have to figure out where Trevor lives and cut his internet, because if he shows up, I don't think that I'll be able to gain any points on him. He's going to have a really bad night, some bad luck, and he's a teammate, so I don't want nothing like that. But I mean, we're racing for second at this point, but Trevor's fast, and there's a lot of guys in this group that are really fast. So to just have a consistent run every night is big.
Yeah, that's the key. You got to get some consistency. I always like to say when I'm racing, if I'm talking to the broadcaster at the end of the race, usually a pretty good night for me. And Jacob, you continue to do that. So once again, congrats on the 3rd place here tonight. Before we let you go and celebrate this podium and this awesome battle, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 51 machine.
I got to thank Team Hot Lap Heroes for all their help. Shout out to Trevor on the win and all the guys that were racing tonight on good runs and having a clean race through the route. So hats off to them. I got to thank, as always, 789 Designs with the wrap on the car. Max Green, as always, the Sud Shop. I got to thank you guys for the broadcast. Enjoy watching the replays and do a phenomenal job. I got to thank Zach and Dave and all the ones that put through the effort to make this deal possible. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a place to run, so couldn't do it without them. Shout out to Dave on the good race tonight. Me and him, we had a heck of a battle. Anytime you can do that cleanly, it's fun. And I got to thank the wife, as always, taking care of the little one.
All righty, Jacob. It seems like a pretty solid stable to be talking to you at the end of these races. So keep up the good runs, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you some more in the future. So, Jacob, you have yourself a great rest of the night, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All righty, folks. That was our 3rd place finisher. Now we'll dial up our 2nd place finisher, that being Bobby Mattingly in the 3M. Bobby, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Oh, man. Heck of a race for that race lead here tonight with you and Trevor. That was fun to watch. What was it like in the car and sadly seeing that win slip away as somehow Trevor figured out that inside line?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not. I mean, it was a good race. Led most of it. I mean, I just felt like I couldn't get down there and make any speed, so I just committed to the top and stayed up there the whole time. And unfortunately, we ran up on a little lap traffic, and they slowed me down a couple times. And it is what it is. They held their line. They did exactly what they're supposed to. So I'm glad that they did. Me and Trevor had a heck of a race there for a while, but then once he figured out the bottom, he pretty much pulled me, and I had to settle for second.
Yeah, there's a real fine art to get these inside line working, especially here at Knoxville. A select few drivers could do it the way they do. I don't know how they do it. I'm always amazed here in the booth, or if I'm in the car, I'm like, man, how do these guys figure it out? But yeah, Bobby, I tell you what, I think you were the best on that top side. You had some monster runs, especially off of turn number 2.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just committed to it. I felt more comfortable up there. I mean, the setup seemed that's where it liked to run. Of course, the further you went along, the groove kept moving up and up and up. And this Knoxville is more of a momentum track. You got to, like I said in my other interview, you got to pretty much try to keep the car straight and not have any wheel spin. And that way you carry your momentum all the way around the racetrack.
Yeah, that is very true, especially with these pro late models, don't have the superpower of the super late model, with the open motors with these, I'm pretty sure being a crate motor, but that's where the money's at, keeping that momentum. And I tell you what, Bobby, you looked on rails, especially in that top lane.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, it just, I kept just trying to hit my marks, and I was doing that, and Trevor got faster, and I pretty much stayed the same speed. So congrats to him. Congrats to Jacob. It's always fun running with guys. There's a lot of guys in here that are real competitive. So it's a good league.
Yeah, it is. It's a blast to watch, and I'm sure it's a blast to be out there, Bobby. And before we let you go and celebrate this runner-up finish, a great run once again from these Team at Speed Shop guys, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank.
Well, Team at Speed Shop, of course, Trevor's my nephew. I know some people know that, but I just figured I'd get it out there. Teammates, Trevor, Aaron, Tanner. We're trying to come up with a little team name. We haven't 100% decided on anything yet, but I got to thank Big Al's Guns, Kellner Contracting, Hugo's Trucking, FMS Rapid Graphics, Aaron. Anybody that's on iRacing, hit Aaron up for a wrap. He does a good job. He keeps all of our cars looking good. I got to thank you for the broadcast, and David and Zach and everybody that puts on the league. It's one of the best leagues I think I've ever been in, and look forward to every Sunday night to running it. And I also got to thank my wife for putting up with me in here on a regular basis. She gives me time to do this and doesn't complain too much. So I appreciate it.
Yep, another awesome showing from the 3M machine of you, Bobby. That was a heck of a fun battle to watch, and see you running out there in front, like you said, leading the most laps here tonight, and holding a candle to Trevor, is always very impressive to see. So, Bobby, hopefully, I can't wait to be talking to you some more. I'm sure you figured out some speed in that 3M machine, and you have yourself a great rest of the night.
All right, buddy. You too. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks, and now we'll head down to Victory Lane once again. He has made it 5 in a row, that being the 13T T-Mat himself, Trevor Mattingly. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, that was a heck of a battle to watch. Tell me a little bit about what you thought in that whole race in general. That was a blast.
Yeah, I agree. That was a blast. Bobby had me there in the beginning. I was doing everything I could on that high side to keep up with him, and he was inching away from me ever so slightly. And then I seen the lap cars coming, and I was like, if we stay green and we catch the lap cars, that's my chance. And we got into some lap traffic there, and these are some of the best guys to race with whenever you're trying to lap them, and they hold their line and do exactly what they're supposed to. And me and Bobby got into a slide job battle there, and it ended up working out in my favor. And the bottom side come in the last, I think, 8 or 9 laps. And
yeah, tell us a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
I've practiced quite a bit here running that bottom side. There was about a half a car's worth of tacky down there, and you have to hit her just right, and she'll pick up and move once that high side's burned off. But there for a long time, I remember, I think it was about 15 or 20 laps to go. I tried to hit it once, and I was like, it's not quite there yet. And I was hoping no one else was running it, and I was going to save it for the last 5 laps, and that's what ended up happening, and it ended up working out.
Yeah, I tell you what, with my interview with Bobby, I said it takes a special someone to make that inside work here at Knoxville. It seems like once that top side becomes such a long way around the speedway that if you could just be very gentle and hit your marks perfectly, that inside line becomes super fast, and you showed that there at the end. I mean, I guess it's probably a lot of practice on your end, Trevor, to master that, but it is very impressive to watch. I'm amazed every time that I see someone make it work, especially that late in a run, let's say.
Yeah, and I've been in races where it gets burned off quick, but the inside here is all about entry. Turn 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's all about entry. If you can enter in low and keep your left rear in that tacky, and then you can basically just follow it around and not get too happy with the loud pedal.
Yeah, that's the key. I think being patient, smooth, and consistent, and that is the definition, I think, of you, because I tell you what, Trevor, I didn't see too many mistakes out there, especially in this main event. I don't think I saw any. You ran a perfect race. moving when you needed to, and of course timing that lap traffic like no other. I tell you what, you're one of the best when it comes to making passes here on the dirt.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And I was following Bobby there, and I definitely didn't want to rough him up any, and we ended up getting through lap traffic pretty clean. It played into my favor more than it did his, of course, but kudos to him on the second place. He had a hell of a race. We ran a practice race last night, and he actually beat me. And I knew he was going to be tough tonight. And I'm glad to see we opened up, I think it was about a 6-second lead on Jacob, which he's a teammate. Kudos to him for the third place. But me and Bobby were definitely on some rails tonight.
Yeah, you two were definitely hooked up. And yeah, before we let you go and celebrate your 5th win in a row, Trevor, looking forward, this is race number 7 in the second half of the season. What's kind of the game plan looking forward to, of course, a healthy points lead with all these wins here at the ASRC Pro Late Model Series?
Man, I try to not think about it and just come in here and run my race. And that's basically what my plan is going forward, is come in here and lay a good qualifying lap down, which I didn't tonight. I think I was 6th or 7th. And I knew I had work to do from there, and started 3rd in the heat race and got lucky with a caution that come out. It was a racing deal, but partly was my fault, and got the good end of the stick there and ended up starting back 3rd again, and got the pass on Jacob in the heat race. Ended up putting me 4th, starting behind Bobby, and me and him just kind of set sail from there. And like I said, I couldn't catch Bobby for nothing whenever it was just on the high side there. So I was like, we got about 20 laps to go. I'm just gonna abide my time. Lap traffic kept getting closer and closer, and we ended up getting into them, and that's where I started working on Bob.
Yep, a heck of a battle. It was a blast to watch. And now, Trevor, we'll hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 13T and another notch in the victory column here in this series.
Yeah, first off, I got to thank you for the broadcast, and Zach and David and Tanner, all the guys that put on the league. Like Bobby said, this is one of the best ran leagues and some of the best people I've ever met on iRacing, honestly. And I'm glad I found ASRC as a league to run on Sundays. I'm not able to run during the week because of work, but it's a hell of a weekend league to run, and I'm looking forward to the future of it. Team at Speed Shop, hit me up for setups for these late models. I'll get you hooked up. I sell what I run. FMS Rapid Graphics, Aaron Kirby for the wrap. He's one of the best, honestly. He does real wraps, iRacing wraps, and he'll get you just about exactly what you want every time. Got to thank Hot Lap Heroes. I forgot them last week. Jacob, Brandon, Dane, Swede. All them guys are teammates on Hot Lap Heroes. Got to thank my Uncle Bobby, Tanner, Aaron Kirby. We're a different team, but we're coming up with a team name here shortly. That's a group of buddies that I'm really close to and get on here and race with day in and day out as much as we can, and try to help each other get faster every day. I think that's it, man.
Alrighty, Trevor, you definitely gotten a lot of airtime with these interviews. It's always been a blast talking with you, and I'm sure they're not quite over yet with some more races left in the season. So, Trevor, once again, congrats on 5 in a row now. That's a heck of a feat, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you in the future. So, once again, congrats on the big win here tonight at Knoxville. You have yourself a great rest of the night.
Alrighty, sir. You too. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks, and that will do it for the interviews here tonight. Trevor Mattingly gets the job done in that 13T machine. He'll park it in victory lane for 5 in a row. Now we'll run through tonight's race results here at the Knoxville Raceway, presented by Pay2Win Setups. Trevor Mattingly gets the job done in the 13T machine. Bobby Mattingly, his uncle, finishes in P2 in the 3M. Third goes to Jacob Laster in the 51. Fourth is Blake Steele, just beating out Dave Payne, who finishes 5th. 6th goes to Brandon Marlowe. 7th is Tanner Hutchins. 8th is Michael Guerin. 9th, Aaron Kirby. 10th is Dane Lloyd. 11th goes to Scott Erie. 12th, Swede Magard. 13th, Deontay Hero. And rounding out the field tonight is Nick Iron. And the 14th finishing in P number 14. So, folks, that will do it for race number 7, presented by Pay2Win Setups. Be sure to check them out for some setups for the pavement and dirt side of things. They do some pretty good work. Also, be sure to check out Turn 3 Racing Network throughout the week, as we got a lot of great streams, a lot of great series to cover. Be sure to check out me. I'm also live on Monday nights. If you enjoy listening to this voice, I know why you would, but that's besides the point. Everyone take care, have a good one, and we'll catch you next Sunday for the next race in the season, race number 8 of the 12. So everyone take care, have a good night, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Everyone have a good one, and this has been